Hi, you are engaging in the ELA Guidebooks Unit, Hurricanes. The purpose of this video is to learn more about what hurricanes are, what makes hurricanes different from other storms, and how they can cause so much damage. This will help you better understand people's experiences of hurricanes and how these storms affect people's lives. Be sure you have your handout available and something to write with for the video. What could have caused all of this? Since you are watching a video about hurricanes, you are probably thinking a hurricane, of course. But what exactly is a hurricane? What makes them so special? And how do they cause so much destruction? Hurricanes are storms, but what makes them different from other storms? Let's investigate by taking a look at a picture of a hurricane from space. What do you notice about it? Well, the first thing I see is this hole in the middle here. That's called the eye of the storm. Around the hole, I see lots of swirling white clouds, almost like water that's going down the drain. These clouds are spinning around the hole or eye in the center. Now you are ready to draw a picture of what a hurricane looks like. Pause this video to record your answers on your handout at the first stop sign. Then, hit play when you are ready to continue. Let's review. Here's my sketch of a hurricane. Can you see where I labeled the eye of the storm and the swirling clouds? Also, notice I've drawn lines to show how the clouds are swirling around. We learned that a hurricane is a storm that has an eye in the middle surrounded by swirling clouds. This sounds a lot like a tornado with swirling winds, but hurricanes are a system of storms that can produce tornadoes. Let's take a look at another picture of a hurricane from space. Right away, I can spot the eye and the swirling clouds. But what else do you notice about this storm? One thing I notice is this storm is huge. Look at how big it is compared to the United States. Hurricanes can be over 600 miles across. Tornadoes and regular thunderstorms are much smaller than this, so I can see that one way hurricanes are different from other storms is their size. In fact, hurricanes are the largest storms in the world. We've seen what a hurricane looks like from space, but to understand more about how hurricanes are different from other storms, we'll need to go inside one. Here's a picture from inside a hurricane. What do you notice? I notice there are really strong winds in there. Remember those swirling clouds we saw when we looked at a hurricane from space? This is what those look like from the ground. To be called a hurricane, a storm must have winds that are blowing at least 75 miles per hour. Let's review what we've learned so far. Hurricanes are storms with clouds that swirl around an eye. Now you are ready to explain what you know about hurricanes. Pause this video to record your answers on your handout at the second stop sign. Then, hit play when you are ready to continue. Let's review. One thing we have learned is that hurricanes have an eye surrounded by swirling clouds. They are huge storms, and they can be over 600 miles across. Another thing we discovered about hurricanes is that they have very strong winds. To be called a hurricane, a storm has to have winds over 75 miles per hour. Here are some pictures taken after a hurricane has happened. Clearly, hurricanes can cause terrible damage. People's homes, cars, boats, and everything they own can be destroyed. How do hurricanes cause so much damage? I know that hurricanes are big storms with strong winds, which is one cause of the damage. But there are more things about hurricanes that makes them different from other types of storms. Let's keep investigating to find out. Pause this video to watch what it is like during a hurricane. As you watch, look and listen for clues about how hurricanes can cause damage. Use the link on the handout to experience the power of a hurricane. Begin the video at the 3-minute mark and stop the video at the 3-minute and 40-second mark. Then resume this video to complete the activity. Now you are going to write a description of what you saw and heard at the next stop sign. Be sure to underline what things stood out to you the most when watching a hurricane in action. When you are done, hit play to continue. One thing I noticed when I watched this video was the sound of the wind howling and the trees waving back and forth. I also noticed the pouring rain. But what stood out to me the most was how the ocean was being pushed into the streets. The street signs were almost underwater as the waves crashed up against the buildings. This makes me think that hurricanes cause damage because of their high winds and because they can cause the ocean to flood the land. This water can remain for hours and even days after a hurricane has passed. Hurricanes are huge storms with fast winds that swirl around the center or eye of the storm. The strong winds and floods caused by hurricanes can cause damage and destroy homes, cars, boats, and affect people's lives in many ways. You will use this knowledge as you engage in the ELA guidebooks, Hurricanes. When you finish this video, be sure to turn in your completed handout to your teacher.